So, on the hunt for ghost towns. Now, when we do our research, sometimes the information is so out of date. When we get to a place, we never know what we're going to find. This is one of those locations. We're at Sego or Sego Ghost Town in Utah. And there isn't really an awful lot left, but we're going to show you anyway. But first of all, look what I've found. So hidden behind this tree are two little rocks, painted rocks. Aren't they cute?
Uh-huh.
Now on the back it says, find us on Facebook at Northeast Ohio. I don't know what that word says.
Rocks.
Is that just rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't got my glasses on. Post a picture and re-hide me. And it says the same on both of them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to leave one here for someone else to find. But I'm going to take the happy funny face and we're going to hide it somewhere else. We're also going to post a photograph of us on Facebook.
Here are some remains of foundations. This was quite large, so what, do you know what this one was?
This was the boarding house.
Uh-huh.
So gold was discovered in this area in the 1890s by an English rancher called Harry Ballard. And in 1911, he sold his small operation to a group of investors from Salt Lake City.
Nice. Looks like over here we have a fridge and a car.
Is that a fridge?
I think so. An old-fashioned one.
Huh. Interesting.
I remember somebody had told us that numbers should be imprinted on the firewall that we could read for like a VIN number or tell you the type of the vehicle. And scouring, I don't see that at all along this one. I believe this is where the plate would have been and it's been ripped off.
So,
and then also,
I have no idea what this vehicle was.
Nope. They said also you can check the, well, here's the front end. And there's a wheel well. So check also the door frames might hold some information.
I think they're too rusted out.
Yeah.
But I know one of our viewers will know what this is.
Exactly. Jan.
Or someone else. It's pretty neat.
It is. I love these old cars.
It'd be lovely to see what it used to look like.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I believe
that's an old refrigerator.
I think so. It kind of reminds me of my great-grandmother. Still had one that they brought brand new. It still worked and it was very much like this, and it just had, like, you know, they see the freezer doors and just the one handle.
Been shot full of bullet holes.
Yeah. And this one is so far gone it's hard to really tell what anything is. I think right there sitting on the subfloor, that's the second floor. And there is a little bit of a, it's not a basement, but it's just a little crawl space underneath.
Yeah, so I don't know how big this boarding house was. But the one thing about this town that is different from a lot of other ghost towns is this boarding house, the stone building opposite that we're going to look at in a minute, and a few other buildings, all had their own water supply.
Wow.
But that was the demise of the ghost town because the water ran out.
Yeah, well, with any mining operation, water is highly important. Well, and for people in general, water is very important.
So as the water ran out, the miners moved out. A few people stayed here into the 1950s, and then a flash flood came through. wiped out the rest of the town really. So the remaining residents moved off.
Okay, here is the stone building, and you can see there's a doorway and two windows, one on each side. They have been filled in with stone and plaster.
And then that would be a basement as well, wouldn't it?
Yes, there's a basement door. You can also kind of see the foundations come out a bit further. They stretch out.
This used to be the company store.
Okay. So we'll walk down into the basement.
Yeah.
Watch her step.
Beautiful old building.
Yeah.
So we would be in the basement.
Yeah, this would be basement level. You can see the floor joists here. That would go all the way across. So, but then these windows up here are really tall.
But if this is a store, it's not a house.
Right. So it's a store for what type? Because this was, you said
Coal mine.
coal mine?
Coal mine.
Okay.
And the mines all closed in 1947.
Wow. You can see the plaster that's bubbling on the walls.
So this would be the main floor. So this would be
Correct.
the cellar or storage.
Yes.
And
then
then
that would have been like the main entrance.
Huh.
Like-
So you've got the two windows here, like the two
And then the
windows,
two windows
there
that were
that
on
were
the
blocked
back.
up.
And a small window up there. And then there's some venting for like a stove, possibly.
There's a major crack.
There is. I'm sure there's more that are. See, there's cracks all through this plaster. This is another major one here by this window. See the windows popping out.
Huh.
There's the general store. Just behind it is one more building, or what's left of it, I should say. Another massive crack above the door line there. Window seems to be pretty intact. I remember Andrea talking about the massive flood that came through in the 50s, I believe it was, she said. See how it's just washed all the sediment in here. An undercut.
I thought it was a cave, but it's not really. There's another one up here. Now that one, you can't get into it, but it looks like it could have been an adit.
Right.
It goes right back, but it's all, there's only about 8 inches to scramble through, but it goes back and then drops, you can see. But apart from that, there's a few big stones, some wrought iron, I guess, wrought iron sheeting, and that's about it. I've hiked up to the end of the canyon up there, well, not to the end because it goes round for a while, but I guess that flash flash flood that came through did a real number.
Yeah, I imagine. Further up into the canyon, Andrea spotted this. Looks to be in pretty decent shape.
Oh wow, no windows.
And the roof is heavily fortified. Maybe a bank.
Well, surely a bank would have windows. Or could it be dynamite? Because it's kind of dug into the mountain.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the rails though.
I'd say thick rails and sheets.
Wow.
All right, directly across the way, you can see the tailings piles, and the mountain has that telltale curve of where an adit used to be. It would appear to be that's where it was. You can see there could have been a landslide, or maybe they did fill it up. And then the rest of this canyon, you can kind of see the dark rock intermixed in here. That's where the canyon ends, and we're also standing on another great big waste rock pile. And then there, right behind us, I believe that's where the other adit was.
There looks like there was a couple further down. You can see all the coal in the mountain. And there's a huge pile here.
Yep, so this obviously is where the mining operation took place.
Well, the mines were closed in 1947, but in actual fact, the adits were closed off in 1990.
Wow, so people had almost 50 years to explore them before they shut them down.
Yep.
I'm saying root cellar? Garage? House?
Not a house.
And built it sturdy.
Don't know. Root cellar, bit far away from the main buildings. Dynamite storage,
Really far away from the mine. And then you wouldn't expect to have an opening this big.
Or it could be something to do with the railway.
Okay.
Because the railway runs just at the back. I'll show you that in a bit.
Yeah, because there are a few more over here. Just remnants, pieces of what's left. It's got some wood framing there. It looks like it could have been a doorway.
Well, I guess they could be cabins because from what I've read, the miners were allowed to build their cabins anywhere they chose along the canyon. So not necessarily in town. And I would imagine a lot of them would have built cabins nearer the mines. They didn't have so far to go.
That's very interesting.
I've got a fun fact about this place as well. Did you know the original name was Nelson and it was renamed Sego or Sego in 1918 after the Sego lilies that bloom in the canyon? True story.
Here is a bridge. We've crossed several of these. This is one that looks to be most intact. So would this be just a regular car bridge or a railroad?
Presuming that it was the railroad, because the railroad was built in, I think, 1912, and it did used to come up from Thompson Springs, and it made 9 round trips a month. And they even, there's a Sego Canyon gap where they blasted their way through so the train could get through.
Nice. Cemetery.
And unfortunately, like so many cemeteries, there's a lot of infant graves, and a lot of grave robbers have been in and broken the gravestones and stolen them. Yeah, most of them don't have names on them. Nothing. No. And this one's just been totally worn off. This would have been an infant's grave.
Yeah.
Oh yes, here we are. Oh, it's young, as in, it says on here, 1985. I wonder if that was done after the effect and someone's just defaced the grave and done it through here. Can you see that?
Just barely, it's really faint.
Because this is I would have thought, an old grave. Huh. And a lot of them have been washed away.
Yeah, there was one marker there.
You can see lots of... And again...
Piles.
They're not facing east-west, they're all over the place.
Right.
Which is... Christian burials are always east-west. Oh, here we are.
Sheldon Bay, U.S. Army. He served in Vietnam. Thank you for your service, sir.
And welcome home. Stortini, baby, born and died 7/24/1926. Possibly a stillborn. How sad.
Giovanni Ascani.
John.
1883 to 1918.
So that would make him, what, 35-ish?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Born in Frontone, Italy. Died in Thompson Canyon.
I wonder if he was one of the miners.
Possibly.
So, according to my resources, this was once a family home. And it did have a huge basement.
Yeah, the basement looks larger than the structure above ground.
But then if you look down, you've got a lot of foundations here. Looks like there was another room along and along there. Oops. Unfortunately, people have been using the bricks to do fire rings and using the wood to start the fire.
Yeah.
And I was told also that there was rock art around here I see a lot of graffiti carved in, but no legitimate, mind you don't step back, but no legitimate Native American, not that I can see.
Yeah, there are a few carvings in the rock here. Like you said, don't know when that could have been done.
Well, I don't think Eddie was here. I don't think that's original for Native American. Eddie's just a
You can see the rest of the structure. The roof is just completely come down. Can't even get inside anymore.
That's concrete. I don't know what that could have been. I was going to say a well, but...
Yeah, it has metal, did have corrugated metal, looks like attached to the top at one point.
And you've got a square hole in the top.
Square opening.
That's what makes me wonder whether or not it was a well. Who knows? I'm just going to check up here to see if there are any true Native American pictographs or petroglyphs.
If there is, I'll meet you up there. And see the other side of what's left of the home here. The doorway there. And this is just all a pile. So have you found any back there?
No, nothing. Nothing whatsoever. And I don't think any of those other ones are original, not Native American, unless they've just been so badly defaced, but no.
Oh well.
Hey ho.
Well, like we stated earlier, sometimes this comes with the territory. We never really know what to expect when we come to some of these locations.
Yeah, so we thought we'd share some of the ones that we wouldn't normally film, to be quite honest. But I hope you enjoyed this one. And on that note, get out there, go and explore, put another pin in the atlas, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye.
Sorry, the birds distracted me.
Bye.